Hello and welcome back to another round of Forgotten Orb 2. We are obviously on St. Lo Breakthrough. One of those maps that is named after not only a place but also like something else. Just to make the name longer and more annoying to search, I guess. But I usually call the video just St. Lo. So with that really pointless and uninteresting information out of the way, let's begin. Berlin next again. Okay, the trick on this map is of course to do nothing but defend hill as a German. Crap, second guy is going here as well. See, that's where the Americans disembark, I mean. Ah, damn it, I think I have to sneeze. Warning for headphone users. Sorry. Ah, that was a pretty girly sneeze though. Death cheat confirmed. Although that guy was easy to see behind the bush because he was strafing left and right. The thing with the FG is you don't have to be that accurate to kill everybody. Oh, we have quite a few people at Villas Fossat. That's risky. Although in general, I mean, earlier I said of course you have to defend hill at all costs, but of course it is not bad to have some people who are harassing the Americans elsewhere. Otherwise they can have too much freedom of movement to like fuck around behind your lines and trying to get behind the hill and stuff like that. I think that Vladov guy is kind of stealing my thunder because he has a better angle. I guess he ran out of ammo. Now my flank is open, of course. Recently I watched a bunch of videos by that other guy who plays this game, or me. In fact, there might actually be, if he's online right now, there might be a video of this very round. And, I mean, generally it's always nice when people do actual videos of our mod, especially multiplayer, not this stupid single player shit. But I have to say, what annoys me about that guy is, and at first I couldn't figure it out, like, whenever he died and he respawned, and sometimes just in the middle of the round he would like just stop. Like, not camp or anything, but like stop what he was doing and do nothing for a few seconds, and then after a while I figured out he was actually looking at his phone. I'm like, for some reason that annoys me. Why? And I crashed. One sec. And I'm back. Now, of course now my FG42 is gone. And I spawned here in a pretty bad position, but I'm back. Regarding the FG42, I'm actually thinking about maybe kind of changing how that works. Not like the gun itself, that's fine, but like it's used of course in our game, or mod or whatever, on Fallschirmjäger maps. I'm not gonna change that, but maybe I will do it so that Fallschirmjäger, they still have the normal MG42 in the support class, and the FG42 goes into like into this slot here. you know, the alternative squad leader kit. I think that kind of would be more accurate. On the other hand, I love using it and I rarely play squad leader, so I'm kind of fucking myself over if I do that. I mean, you could also have, in addition to that, still pickup kits and such, but... yeah. Leave a comment about what you think. Speculative nade. For a second I thought it was one of theirs. I saw my life flash before my eyes. Oh, good one. Ah, crap. Not a nade kit. And I don't necessarily want to mine our trenches, that usually leads to me screaming at somebody, so I'm not going to do it myself. Well, I mean, since I have this now, though, I could at least use the American radio to call in our arty. Come on, here we go. Fucking American radio, yeah, doesn't work, obviously. This is another, I mean, it's not really a historical inaccuracy, but whenever you call in artillery, it says sent to fire direction center, you know. And actually only the Western Allies had fire direction centers. The Germans, for example, were connected directly to their artillery. So often the artillery would be called in by an officer that was attached directly to the guns. Whereas the Americans and British would... shit. Well, that was close. Ah, damn it! Whereas the American and British had these... yeah, can't get that back, huh? No. Had these direction centers that were hooked up to all the batteries in the area, and then they could be way more flexible. You would call the fire direction center and they'd be like, okay, we're gonna shoot at them with a bunch of 105s and a bunch of 155 and so on and so on. And you know what? Throw the mortars into the mix, why not? It was way more flexible. And they had all kinds of tables that allowed them to do stuff like so-called stonk, which meant that they would call in the artillery and calculate it in a way that all the first rounds would basically hit at the same time. Fuck, 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 fuck. Which is very important because they figured out at some point that after the first artillery rounds hit, everybody of course goes into cover, and the subsequent rounds cause a lot less, like noticeably less casualties, or noticeably fewer casualties, I should say. And yeah, that's the thing. So basically what they could do is have all the rounds of the first volley hit at the same fucking time. Like, giant. Oh, yeah, he had the more damaging weapon now. Like have everything explode at the same time, which must have been terrifying. Oh, my FG flag. Oh, he took out the guy that I nicked earlier. And yeah, the Germans couldn't do that. In the Soviets it was even worse because they had even fewer radios than the Germans, and also I think they had a similar organization to the Germans, but more with less, even more rarely with radios, more with field telephones. So on the defensive, of course, you can do that because you can lay the telephone lines and wire and so on. Which is also what the Germans mostly did, you know, they also didn't have telephones all the time, radios all the time. But, yeah. Whereas the Western Allies, of course, radios for everyone. They even had the walkie-talkies later in the war for really low-level guys. But yeah. And the Russians, as I said, field telephones, signals, runners. Don't know if they still use DOS, probably not. Never heard about that after World War I. And the Russians often, instead of calling in their divisional artillery, the Russians used their mortars more in that role actually, so one level up, which was often the case with Russian organization, is that everything was like one level up compared to the other nations. I had a ton of mortars. And of course they still used artillery heavily, just very mostly pre-planned stuff, like for the Silo Heights, a 20,000 gun salute there was all meticulously pre-planned and pre-calculated, but for calling in artillery quickly, that was what the Western Allies could do very well. And the Germans to a degree, but not as fast or flexible. And if the Soviets did it, then only with mortars, not with the 76s or whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna say never, but usually. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, you're right, and because of that the fire direction center is technically wrong in this case. I wonder if there's a way we could actually introduce some of these differences with the different, like that the Western Allies for some reason have better artillery, not just in the sense of having more, but also being able to call it in somehow better. To be honest, I don't really have a clue how to do that. Oh, we came from behind. Otherwise the other guy would have been screwed, man. Maybe make it so that, let's say, for the Germans, let's say the Western Allies would stay like this. For the Germans, only the NCOs could call in the artillery, and for like the function that of the binocular, the German binocular would be like the NCO would have a special version that could call in the artillery, and the normal scout one would have one that can just mark things on the map and not call in artillery. And for the Russians, you would have to pick up a kit with an artillery binocular, so to speak, and it would be a specialized artillery observer role. I mean, I could see that kind of working out, I guess, but I don't know. It would change balance to a degree, I think. That's... okay, if you want to go first, you go first, I guess. I don't think people would like that much so, and it would be hard to communicate to the players how it works, so... I'm just streaming out loud here. Also, I guess you would have to place all the Russian artillery pickup kits, and then, of course, Russian artillery wouldn't get called in as often, and people might not want to play it, and that's the whole thing here. Not to mention that it would be a big issue, especially on like Silo Heights, where the Russians have lots of artillery, and it's like it would nerf them there even more, even though they are already not really at an advantage on that map. Oh, Tore, there must have been what's it called? I don't even know where I'm going right now. That must have been a transport. I went away from over there because there were so many of ours. It was like, let's best not bunch up too much. It's just asking for a nade to take everyone out. Maybe I should go to the slit trench here. But yeah. I guess it could be theoretically a way of making the artillery doctrine more distinct. But on the other hand, it's like our artillery system isn't that realistic anyway, so why fuck with it, and you know, wouldn't really make it more realistic, really, just introduce differences, I guess. It's very abstracted anyway. Also, we would then have to research, like, what would we do, for example, with the French. I don't know. Does anybody in our team know? Does anybody know where to find that out? What if we ever decide to do, I don't know, Poland 1939? How did they do it? I don't know. Although it would probably be closer to the Russians than to the Americans, that's for sure. Maybe we should do it like Gravity Team Tactics, and you actually have to put down wire and stuff. People would hate it, I would love it. Nah, that would be fucking stupid, but... I always like that in Gravity Team when you can see the little guys pulling the wires behind them. We're really pushing out far now. Curse is over there somewhere, but there's so many people there. Those are fucking Americans. Okay. Guess this is American territory now. Those were quite a few people there though. Hello. Nice swamp camo you got there. Actually, I think I have that too. There's 3 types of camo here on the Germans. The normal green one, swamp, and splinter. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it as always. Thanks for watching and have a very nice day. Oh, copyright, 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 copyright. Blah 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 blah. Blah.